She witnessed the death of her own mother without being able to do anything. She grew up suffering neglect and torture at the hands of her brothers. When she finally thought she would have a normal life, she was transported into a game. As the villain, now, she needs to fight against her destiny and escape a tragic end. Hello. Welcome to our channel J Manhwa. Today's work is about isekai. The name of today's work is, Death is the Only Ending for the Villain. The story begins with a young university student who has just left home. An environment that has always harmed her. Our protagonist is the illegitimate daughter of a widowed businessman who has 2 more sons, both from his deceased wife. One day, the protagonist's mother falls ill and, without resources to pay for treatment, she dies. This leads the girl to live with her paternal family. The poor thing thought she would finally be treated like a princess, but that's when hell begins. From the moment she starts living in that house, a cycle of neglect and hatred begins. Her father doesn't care about her and her brothers treat her worse than an animal. This even extends to school, where she becomes a victim of bullying because of one of her brothers. In order to get rid of any other kind of things that might harm her, she dedicates herself fully to her studies to get into a good university, thus asking to live alone under the excuse of being independent. Damn father, how could you let my move happen with those bastards? You know how much they tortured me, why didn't you just send me to live on the street, damn it? Those bastards should only be worried about the inheritance on the line. Whatever, I'm free now, you're too loud, says the neighbor. Oops. Living in that house so far was so painful. Whether at school or at home, my brothers tortured me to no end and my father didn't care. I worked hard to get into a prestigious university just to have a reason to move and escape that hellish family. And I did it. My depressing days are over now. I'll go to school, make lots of friends, and live happily. The next day at school, a trend started about a new game. Hey, did you finish that game? Said some girls. I'm on hard mode and their favorability won't go up seriously. Is it really possible to win? And the comments just kept increasing. What are they talking about? Asks our star to her friend. Oh, you don't know it's the game that's trending now. Game? Asks our star, the love of the young lady. Project of Love, her friend answered. It sounds so childish, how did this become a trend with a title like that? Says our protagonist, already at home testing the game after her friends pestered her to try it. I'm really not interested, but it's what everyone is talking about at school now. Well, let's just see what it's about. The game has 2 modes, normal and hard. In normal mode, the player is an 18-year-old girl who lives humbly until she discovers that she's the lost daughter of Duke Icarte of On. When this is revealed, she is integrated into noble society and begins to try to win her family's love. During this process, she catches the attention of 5 men. Her 2 older brothers, a marquis who is also a sorcerer, a knight refugee from another nation, and the imperial crown prince. To sum up, the game is about the girl conquering the heart of one of the targets and achieving a happily ever after while protecting herself from the villain, a daughter adopted by the Duke sometime after the disappearance of the true one. Since I have class tomorrow, I'll just play the prologue and go to sleep, she said, and already had dark circles from playing too much. This is more fun than I thought. The system is unique and very well done, says our star, now addicted. But for some reason, I feel like I'm watching my own story. The heroine who lost her status and lived in poverty returns to the ducal home. I, who was once taken into the rich family by my own father. Even the 2 older brothers who were suspicious of the sudden appearance of their sister. But the difference between our situations is like night and day. I can't believe the brothers are also male leads. It'll be fun to deal with these brats, says our star. All the love interests start with 30% favorability in normal mode. It's fun but very easy even for a beginner like me. I finished all the endings. Is there anything else to do? Jay's note, more addicted than I am. After beating all the routes in normal mode in a total of 3 hours, she gets the chance to play the secret route, if she pays a certain amount of money, which leads the protagonist to anger. But this route becomes free if she beats the game in hard mode. Tempted by the opportunity, she restarts the game, this time with a big difference, playing from the perspective of the villain, Penelope, starting sometime before the true daughter's arrival. Penelope was the only daughter of a poor merchant and lived in the slums of the capital until her mother fell ill and inevitably died. which led her to beg to survive. Some time after the event, the Duke's carriage passes by and he decides to adopt her, simply because she had similar traits to his beloved daughter. Pink hair, light eyes, and the same age. So Penelope becomes part of the Icarte ducal family overnight. Obviously, no one accepts her, and adding to the fact that she was a commoner with rude and arrogant manners, everyone starts openly despising her. Not even her own family supports or defends her, which leads her to try to protect herself in the only way she knows, acting aggressively. The game was very difficult because all the endings led to death, so I passed out, but... My lady? Called a maid in front of me. Is she referring to me? Right. Let me think. Last night I woke up here instead of in my bed at home. I begged and begged all night. But it wasn't a dream after all. And I became someone else, not just anyone, but that character from the game. And to make matters worse, it wasn't even the protagonist, it was the villain. Penelope Icarte. Ow, what is this pain? I look at my arm and I'm shocked. Several needle marks. In front of me is that maid again. Restless with a careless expression. The same one from the game. What the hell was she doing to someone while they were asleep? I open my mouth to say something, but nothing comes out. What is this? I have prepared the bath. Please wash yourself. My lady, said the wretched maid with a little smile on her face. I didn't expect her to attend to me, but just a basin of cold water is too much. I knew Penelope was mistreated in the game, but these details were never described. How did she manage to live like this? Needles? That wasn't even in the game. Huh, that was one of the ways the Crown Prince took her life in the game. But what the hell, no matter how you look at it. In the game, it was just some poorly drawn blood splashes. What's happening? How was I supposed to recognize this? This game really has all these useless details. Thinks are our star in despair. Knock knock, my lady. Breakfast is ready, said the wretched maid, knocking on the door. Seriously. I was tortured by this family for years. This basin doesn't even tickle. Please sit down, my lady, and eat. You must be starving, said the wretched maid. You've got to be kidding me. Thinks are our star. Looking at the spoiled food the wretched maid served her. This pile of garbage is my meal? I can't believe it. I look incredulously at that wretched maid who just gives me a cynical smile. Suddenly, a white screen with 3 options appears in front of me. 1. Are you crazy? Bring me the chef. Flip the table. 2. Why don't you try eating it? Feed the maid. 3. Eat this. Choices again? And what kind of options are these? And the worst part is that I recognize them. I had to redo them twice when playing in hard mode. If I choose option 1, the poor wretched maid will complain to the Duke about my tantrum, and if the eldest son hears about it, I'll be banned from even drinking water and starve to death in this room. And in option 2, the second son suddenly shows up and sees the scene. While he tries to separate me from the wretched maid, a fork flies into my neck and I die. So, the only viable option is 3. After all this reasoning, our star starts eating the slop. She started moving on its own as soon as she selected the third option. Huh? Expressed the wretched maid. Ah, my body won't stop moving. How disgusting. Am I eating crap or what? What are you doing? Said the second son, entering Jay's note. Finally, bastard. Was he going to wait for our star to finish her plate? Young Master Reynolds? Said the wretched maid with fear. Ugh. Gagged, almost throwing up. Why'd I have to go through all this? Thinks are our star. That damn family. She begins to remember the hell she went through in her previous life. Tell daddy if you feel mistreated. Oh right, he doesn't care about you at all. Even if you're being bullied or starving, since you're not really part of the family. Those bastards never left me alone. Whether at home or at school. Even though their mother died of illness before I was even born. They treated me like their worst enemy. Because of them, I was always sick. I've had enough experiences in my real life. And now I have to go through this again because of this damn game. Hey, are you okay? As if you really care, bastard. He looks at the plate of food and says, what the hell is this? Hey! What the hell are you giving her to eat? Master, that's Jay's note. Go ahead, wretched maid, try explaining more. How dare you mock her like this? How can a mere maid dare serve this to her mistress? Jay's note, it's about time. Continue, you piece of trash. Master, it's not that, it's just that. She's interrupted by an angry Reynolds. Get out of here now. I will make sure to report this to my father and my brother. Is anyone here? Where's the butler? Master, what's the problem? Said the butler entering, take this bitch out of here and imprison her. Master, forgive me. Master, master. Jay's note, scream louder, wretched maid, my soul is satisfied. Our star groans with stomach pain after eating the slop, are you okay? Why were you eating that without complaining? You should have flipped the table and made a scene like you always do. If I didn't eat it, I would have been hit by a fork in the neck because of you. Thinks are our star, because she's still under the game's effect and can't say anything unless it's in the script. The situation was resolved thanks to the second son. But is the maid the only reason Penelope ended up in this situation? I bet all the house staff are involved in this. If the Duke's family members, including this bastard here, hadn't ignored the whole thing, this would never have happened. Hey! You look sick, should I call a doctor? Ding! 3 more options. 1. Don't worry. 2. Why do you care? 3. Don't pretend to be kind, you only care about yourself. More options. I need to be careful with what I choose so I don't end up dying, right? Heavens. If I didn't know anything about this world, I'd be grateful for you worrying about me. But I already know you're not being sincere. Thinks are our star. 1. Don't worry. You're right. No doctor in this mansion would waste time examining you. Eat whatever you want and die. No one cares. Jay's note, watch me dropkick this bastard. Anyone joining? What the hell is this? Thinks are our star looking at his favorability percentage increasing. That sneaky Tsunere haha. It was at -10% when she entered this world, now it's at -3%. Well, it's still negative. Thinks are our star. Penelope Eckert. Wow, I had thought this when I saw her in the game, but she's really beautiful. I would be so happy if they hadn't changed me. Dark pink hair and turquoise eyes exactly like in the game. She's so beautiful, but still gives off a wicked impression. She's truly the villain. But her past and everything she went through. I can't stop thinking about how similar we are. Continue? If you want it to continue, leave a like and comment, so I know if you're enjoying it. This encourages me to continue.